Hey, what's up, super friends? Welcome back to Cult Classic Neo. Today, let's talk about Michael T. Shamborn III's top 3 reasons why ELEX is going to absolutely rock. It's definitely a game that I want to play here on the channel and can't wait to do so. But my number one reason why ELEX is going to rock, lasers. What do I mean specifically? Well, we've seen RPGs in the past try to mix what we call high fantasy, kind of the dragons and swords facets of RPGs, with sci-fi. Kind of think Mass Effect, right? And usually what we've ended up with is this awkward mashup where it's really a high fantasy game that just mixed in a little bit of technology and sci-fi, or it's really a sci-fi game where they've mixed in a taste of high fantasy, usually through the lore or some type of cutscene. And obviously I'm oversimplifying, but what I've seen, at least from the footage we've been given access to in ELEX, is this supreme balance between both. This is clearly a high fantasy game where I'm fighting dragons and wyverns out in the wilds, a la a Risen type game. But I'm also in a suit of technological armor, like an exosuit, with a laser rifle, breaking into these, gang-infested homes, a la Fallout 4. And to me, that dystopian / technological world makes for a very interesting, potentially interesting experience that I'm very much looking forward to play. Plus, I just love the idea of gunplay in a high fantasy RPG. That speaks to something I've wanted for a very long time. Number 2, the tedium of travel. So go back a couple of years, you'll remember a game called Saints Row 4. It was actually my first experience with the Saints in terms of Saints Row games. One of the things I loved and still love about that game was the developers and the designers respected the player's time. By giving you superpowers, not only did they allow you to do these really cool feats in the game in order to take out your enemies, but they also completely remove the amount of time it takes for you to get from one end of the map to the other. Compare that to a game like Grand Theft Auto 5. Why do so many people not finish a game that big? I think it's because it takes so long to be in the world. The same thing goes with the Just Cause series. Even though those worlds are beautiful and there's so much to do in them, it takes forever to get around them. And I think Saints Row 4 did a really good job of that. What does that have to do with ELEX? Well, ELEX clearly has a backpack, or excuse me, a jetpack. Now, I don't know the extent of how far that jetpack is going to take us, but I can imagine, let's say that there's a hilltop that you're trying to get on top of, and a la Elder Scrolls, you're trying to find a path through the woods or wherever you are to get up on top of that hilltop. Well, if it's short enough, and assuming that your jetpack has enough power, you could just use your jetpack to get up there. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to, is how are they going to use the jetpack to remove the tedium of travel? How high can I fly? How long can I fly? Am I able to level this jetpack up? It's something that I'm really optimistic about, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. Number 3. Piranha Bytes. Do I need to say anything else? Now, for those of you who aren't big fans of open world European RPGs, this probably won't mean much to you. But if you are like me, and Gothic 3 and Risen are 2 of your favorite RPGs, they're not perfect. They've got issues. If you don't patch Gothic 3, it has a lot of issues. Some of you listening may be saying, he's crazy, Gothic 2 is much better, and that's fine. But Gothic 3 is really the one that hit home for me. And even though it had its issues, and I'm not talking about the technological issues, I'd argue that Gothic 3 had some design challenges, okay, as did Risen. I still think the idea of having to go to a trainer to learn skills is absolutely ridiculous. But there's something about Gothic 3 that really touched my heart, we'll say. Now, there's going to be a slight spoiler in what I'm getting ready to say next. So if you don't want any type, even a really minor one for Gothic 3, then just plug your ears for the next 15 seconds. In Gothic 3, one of the problems that I had was going to a town. It was the town system. Basically, the town systems had clout where you had to build yourself up by doing these fetch quests, side quests, in order that the person that you need to see in the town to forward whatever quest or mission you were on, you could build your clout by doing these kind of boring side quests. But did you know that one of the ways to, and that carries out through the course of the game, where you have to continually do these tedious side quests in order to progress the game. But did you know you can get to a certain point of the game, depending on who you decide to side with in Gothic 3, one of the solutions, here comes the spoiler, to beating the game is just killing everyone. And so when that last baker asked me to go get some flour for him out in the wilds or wherever he asked me to get it from, Just killed him. And then I killed everybody in the town. Then I killed all the orcs at the town next to that one. Then I went to the desert and killed all the people there. It was amazing. It was like the developers realized, yo, we built this system that's highly tedious. Let's give people who don't want to do this a way out. Let's just let them kill everyone. And then that's the ending. And that's one of the things that I love. And is that the way I would have wanted the game to go? Not necessarily, but the fact that the developers had enough empathy to realize that, hey, this is an open world RPG. Different types of people are going to want to play this game differently. And that's who's at the helm of ELEX, Piranha Bytes. I'm very much looking forward to what they can do here. I love the vision, I love the aesthetic, and I love the potential for the storytelling, and hopefully the gunplay, the swordplay, and all of that is absolutely squared away. So in the end, we get what will hopefully be one of my contenders for Game of the Year 2017. That's all I have for you all today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want to be a part of a positive gaming community that's trying to strip this world of all the cynicism by infusing this world with positive intellectual conversation about video games, then subscribe so we can keep you up to date with everything we got going on here. Until next time, friends, I love you all, and I'll see you soon.